So much has happened since my last studio vlog, even though it's been a short amount of time. So in this studio vlog, I'm going to share how I overcame my creative burnout and dove straight back into painting like crazy. This is a very painting heavy studio vlog. So I'll give you guys an update about what's been happening, show you some sketches and paintings, and of course, cats. Hey everybody, welcome back to the garden. I wanted to share a little update. It's been a few weeks since my last vlog. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but I record things and I collect lots of videos and then edit them and share them. So by the time I share them, it's like sometimes a month or more has passed. So sometimes you're seeing things almost in real time and other things in the video might be from a while ago. It's been a while since my last vlog and I've overcome a lot of struggles. And a huge part of that is thanks to you guys. So many people commented on my last video with beautiful insights and just very encouraging thoughts and very beautiful sentiments that kind of pulled me out of this funk, or it gave me like a new perspective, like I'm not totally alone. I am part of the huge worldwide community and I'm not the only one going through this. And a lot of you gave suggestions about how you get through it. So I just really want to thank you for that. It's so amazing. When I read through the comments, I just get like this flood of love and excitement and joy. And so even though it's really hard to share some of the more vulnerable sides of life and being an artist full-time, I've learned that it's far more rewarding to be truthful and forthcoming about these things. So yeah, thank you all. And one of the things that really helped me is that I sat down and I wrote a huge list of things that are stopping me from painting, from creating, from like really reaching my potential, I think. And so many of those things on the list were about fear, and especially fear of judgment from other people. And when I sat down and looked at it, I was just like, why am I so afraid of people I've never met, or people who are in a different genre or a different field, or like just why am I afraid? And so I said, okay, I'm going to give myself a whole day to do whatever I want, and no one is ever going to see it. No one is ever going to maybe even know about it except until now when I'm telling you. I'm just going to do whatever comes to me in the moment without fear. And that was actually hard to get started. It took me a good hour of just like staring at my supplies. But then I just started scribbling, and then that led to thoughtful painting and mark making, and like this floodgate was opened. I realized that for a really long time, somewhere in the back of my mind, in my subconscious maybe, I was absolutely terrified that if I painted what I want to paint, like the exact colors and subject and whatever, the things I want to make, if I make it look exactly how I want to, there's going to be so many people who won't like it, who will think that it's amateur, or who will think it's not fine art, or who will like label it as something. Okay, I have to add this little tangent. For a very long time, like since I started painting basically, as a self-taught painter, I've always tried to find artists, interviews, videos, whatever, professional artists talking about their practice, talking about how they do what they do, talking about the whole business side of it. And over the years, I've discovered a lot of amazing resources. And one of those resources was called the Plein Air Podcast by the Plein Air magazine. And it's like a US-based thing. They interview professional artists, specifically who like to do plein air, but that's not the only thing. And they talk about their process, their thoughts about art and painting and colors and everything. It's amazing. It's like a gold mine. A lot of those painters are somewhat more traditional, and not only in how they paint, but like their thought process. Some of them are not. Some of them are like totally open to whatever. But then others, like you hear it in the interview sometimes, it's like, it's not that they're looking down at other artists who do certain things, but they, like for instance, I love using super intense, beautiful colors. I love using a weird combination of colors. I love using really expressive mark making. Half the painting can be totally abstract and half of it can be representational. I love that combination. And there was a word that they would say a lot in the podcast. And so as like a young, impressionable painter finding my way in the world, I would hear this word garish and think, oh, my paintings are garish. When I use certain colors, or when I do a combination of colors, I'm doing it wrong. I'm making an ugly, garish painting. But I always had this little voice in the back of my head that was like, don't do that. You're supposed to use neutral, like muted tones. You're supposed to use gray. You're supposed to use all these more natural tones. That voice was getting louder and louder the more I taught myself how to do art, painting, drawing, everything. Like the better I get, the more I was like, oh, I'm supposed to do it this way, because that's what like all these amazing artists do. And even though I still rebelled against that voice and have my own expressive voice, that was always in the back of my mind. So the other day when I sat down and I gave myself this day of freedom, of total freedom in creation, I was like, meow, that voice. I'm going to use whatever colors I want. I'm going to paint exactly how I want to paint. That voice is dead to me. And by the end of the day, like, it was incredible. I was like this different person almost, like in the way that I felt in a complete state of flow, which is wild to me because for months now I've been like burned out. I haven't been able to paint at all. Anytime I painted, it was just purely to like teach someone something in a tutorial or something. And it wasn't like whatever, like it was just like it was like night and day, going from this burnout, feeling stifled, to complete total freedom and joy. So all of that is to say that I feel extremely excited and hopeful for the future, Like, I've somehow overcome this hurdle that has been holding me back for so long of fully exploring my voice, my artistic voice. So I just really wanted to share this little story in case anyone out there is going through something similar or has recently overcome something, or I don't know, just I really wanted to share that and encourage you to think about why you do what you do, how you do it, and doing it your own way, no matter what. No matter if there's a billion artists who are like, don't do it that way. If that's really how you want to do it, do it. So maybe that's encouraging. I also want to share that this little sketchbook has been like my best friend lately. It's an awesome sketchbook for mixed media. So lately I've been doing pencil and marker and paint and gouache, everything. Like I want to use all the things all at the same time. And so far, this sketchbook is the most ideal because it accepts marker really easily. It's smooth to draw on with basically any type of drawing utensil. It accepts watercolor, it accepts gouache. Yeah, like it just allows me to do all the things I want to do, and I don't get frustrated by the paper. Okay. So I think I'm going to order a couple more of these just so I know that I have a few backups. I feel like I'm going to go through this fast now that I am like getting back into it. So yeah, maybe I'll share some of that with you guys. I'm in this weird mental place right now. Like a few years ago, I sat down and I made a plan. I made a goal that I could sustain myself on passive income. All my bills, all my student loans, everything is paid from passive income sources. And I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting closer. Like I'm not constantly having to chase commissions and jobs and stuff like that. Like my Skillshare classes, my Patreon. My Patreon is active source, I would say, but some of it is passive. And some of my older YouTube videos, the income I make from YouTube, I just checked recently. I kind of forgot about this for a while, but I make money through YouTube, through the ads. I make like £250 every month, around there. It goes up and down a little bit, but it's basically around that every month. That is enough to almost cover 1.5 of my student loans, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot for me. It means that, you know, I can take that many less commission jobs and I can put that much more time towards growing my skills, towards making videos, towards making tutorials, and all of that. So the goal originally is, as I said, is to completely sustain myself on the passive income. And ultimately that means any active income I make, I have a choice what I do with it. So when I remind myself of that goal of building up these passive income sources, the thing with passive income is it takes a lot of work up front. So to grow a YouTube channel, to grow my Patreon following, and all of these other things, it's like nonstop recording things, editing things. I spend more than half of my life, my awake hours, editing on the computer. And I've gotten pretty good at it and pretty fast at it, which of course my workaholic brain means just you can do more of it. So that's what I've been doing. I've been putting out a lot of content for a couple of years. And then that became my reality. That became my existence, became me. I am this YouTuber, I'm this creator, which I never expected. I never planned for that to take over my mind. In my ideal version of my life, I'm an artist who also shares things. But at the moment, because I'm doing everything myself and working on building up these passive income sources, that is everything. That is all I do. That's my whole existence, as I said. In a way, it's reassuring to know that it's working, it's paying off. Little by little, I'm slowly getting there. I'm a little bit closer each year towards that goal. And it's I just kind of remind myself, okay, if I can stick it out for one more year, keep doing that. And I don't want to call it a hustle, but it is kind of a hustle. It's a lot of work. And it doesn't end unless you end it. I can't lose sight of of having a work-life balance along the way, which I did kind of do. And I think that's what, it's one of the things that led to burnout. So my goal this year is to continue down the path of what I've been doing, because it's slowly working, but maintain a healthier work-life balance. Wow, this has been a long ramble. Let's go do something else now. In my most recent video, I shared my process for painting some gouache coastal scenes, which were inspired by a recent trip to the coast. We had a long day of walking along the coast, absorbing all the amazing little details and colors and sounds, and it was just the most glorious, warm, sunny day. So I took all of that inspiration back to the studio. I've totally taken over the courtyard. Little studio buddy. Oh. Do you guys remember those acrylic markers that I started a while back? Well, they have been sitting in this little carrier case in my studio for ages, many, many months. They've been stored vertically, and I've barely touched them. And guess what? They still work. They flow beautifully, and yeah, they're just amazing. And I've been loving this combination of kind of drawing with acrylic as well as painting. I kind of go back and forth depending on what marks I need or where I'm at in the painting. And I really just enjoy that freedom of mark making. So I took tons of reference photos and videos on the coast, and of course it was fresh in my mind as well. So I wanted to paint a few different types of scenes, and I was especially fascinated by the colors of the sand and the water reflecting on the sand as the tide moved in and out. So that's something that will probably feature quite prominently in the coastal series. And I also love the idea of somehow tying that into my pathways series, because I'm really inspired by all the coastal pathways, and the water itself finds its own path up onto the shore. And I mean, there's just so many layers to it. No pun intended. So the videos you're watching now are little clips of a few of the paintings I've started. These are just the first layers. They're kind of like the underlayer, the undertones for the painting. I still want to come back and add lots of textures and grassy details. There's so many beautiful plants that grow on the coast that I really want to feature. And yeah, I just had a ton of fun and had a total creative freedom, and I felt like I was finally getting back to my creative flow. It felt so good. And I'm gonna make a separate video about the whole coastal series and maybe show some more real time footage and talk about the process a little bit more. But for now, I'm gonna leave you with some clips and some music. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you and all of your amazing comments that you leave me. It really, really lifts my spirits. So I'll see you all again soon. All right, bye, take care, bye. Okay, bye.